you know, the juju on it. But let's take a look back and see if we get any more action on these. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, so you can see here, like, AMTD's getting shredded. I mean, so the news essentially, right, is that Interactive Brokers went to free commission. Now Schwab is going to free commission. So let me see what the ticker for Schwab is. So you can see, like, these guys are, you know, busting down 6%. They're just gonna, you know, they're going to new revenue models. So they're gonna go to free commission, which just means they're gonna have other ways to screw you. But whatever. Free commission. If you're a swing trader, free commission's awesome. You should, and the fills matter, right? Because the fills matter. If you're trading like 1,000 shares, 500 shares of stuff, then the fills matter, right? So that's always going to ANAB. My issue on this one now, it looks like, is going to be what? That, you know, we gapped down. We got to, you know, we've got to be super mindful of too. You know, if it's $4 off the highs, that's not going to be good. But it's been doing on no volume. So in volume for this thing to get, you know, for me to try to, you know, lay the snake on it. So ETFC 39. As long as it stays under 39 and builds, we can look to short these things. Now the issue, secondary issue beyond just the daily chart, guessing this is going to be a few $100 million, right? Or if not more. These are going to be a little bit thick. The ETFC is not going to be that thick, but Schwab is like 1.5 billion, right? So 1.3 billion. I mean, that's like almost untradeable. That's like, like, it's just too thick, right? It's thick, man. You know, Canada, they like that kind of thing because it's cold. You need that extra cushion. But down here in the South, we don't want that. We don't want that. We beach bods all year. All year round, Chris Shoesmith. All year round. We don't want that cushion. We don't want that high float. We want low float. So this one's going to be a little bit harder to trade. I would say ETFC will move the best out of the group just due to the price. EOO, I think, is a buyout, so that's not going to really work on them, but most likely these are just shorts if you can find them. But it's like really too low of a float to even short. I don't know what's going on with this ENSG. Only a few trades taking place, 6,000 shares, but it's down 7%. That might be something like, you know, we keep a look at, but I wouldn't say that's a priority due to lack of liquidity. What's going on, my Russian friend? Das vidanya. Das vidanya, motherfuckers. Dude, Rocky 4 is like such an epic fucking movie. Like, even Creed 2 was so awesome just because it was so Rocky 4-ish. Anybody watch that one? Man. Alright. Qs. We're in the middle of a chop zone, right? So this is like, right? When you're in a range for months, what oftentimes will happen is you think you'll see breakout in a stock and it breaks down. You think you see a breakdown and it breaks back higher. You know, you think stocks are hot, like these IPOs were so hot, and then they just bleed out. You know, that's what happens when you're in a big range, especially near a top of a market versus the bottom of the market. There has been some signs of distribution in tech names, IPO names over the last few months. Remember, distribution markets always happen when you're like 2 or 3% from highs. And what's happening is there's a slow shift in price action and price patterns and a shift in control on certain stocks from buyers to sellers, where the old adage of like every dip gets bought and blah, blah, blah happens. That doesn't happen when you're slightly in a distribution market. So we're starting to change on all those kind of things. Mr. Hensley, what's going on? So top plays for day. S-Chan, any dip on this bad boy, volume pop on it, 3.8 million shares, so it's going to have liquidity. It wasn't an easy trader yesterday because pretty much the whole shred happened in the first like 5 candles and didn't even give you an entry. Today could be our day to get a little bit of an entry. So I think out of like the ones that, you know, are like the non-earnings plays, that's going to be my favorite. Some of these, you know, IPOs have a little bit of room to pop. These are dead cat bounces. Like, this wasn't a monster cock bounce or anything, but, you know, you've got a little bit of room up to the 9 EMAs on these things. So watch. There was a shift yesterday where all these things looked like they were flushing at the open, and then they shake and bake, right? The shake and bake is your classic pattern where if something gets oversold, you'll break down the previous day's low and then you shake back over, right? That's a shake and bake play. We do those in the chat room all the time. Just because you think something's a breakdown doesn't mean it's a breakdown unless it's a breakdown. Does that make sense? Because it's all dependent on the daily chart, right? If the daily chart is showing you levels of demand and you're really getting oversold, then what often will happen is if you think there's a breakdown, it will break back up. So you always got to remember when you're intraday trading to be really thinking about the big picture of what's happening on the daily chart, right? You get your thesis from the big picture, the daily chart. The intraday charts are just used to align with what your thesis on the trade is, based on what is happening on the big picture and based on what is happening on that daily chart. And then, of course, you want to really study these bad boys on multiple time frames and get that action going. So be mindful of these things. IBKR, I'm sure, is going to be in play. They thought they did a Houdini, and now everybody's going to free trading. Man, there's going to be all sorts of disastrous results from this free trading, but these things are getting smoked. I mean, you're a broker. You're in the commission business, right? People are going to get hip to the fact that they got to make money somehow, so they're going to be up to no good. They're going to be up to all sorts of no good, right? Anytime somebody creeps around past midnight, up to no good. So you run. That's what these guys are doing right now, but boy, are they getting smoked. You know what? Fuck. I mean, people should be dumping this junk just for even messing with this kind of stuff. Look at these things, right? So they're down a lot. These, remember, aren't small cap companies, right? So they're 10, 15, 20, 30 billion dollar companies. It's hard to short a mere turd in the hole when it's down 20%. That's probably one of its biggest down days it's ever had since the recession times. So Schwab's gone to zero commissions, which doesn't really matter because their platform stinks. Their borrows stink and everything else pretty much stinks. Free commissions are nice. If you got $3,000 and you're going to trade 100 shares or something, you're going to hold stock for 2-3 weeks, free commissions, awesome. It's going to help you because it's going to save you costs. If you need to move in and out of stuff, you need good borrows, you need good technology, you need speed, then free commissions is a hindrance because you have direct market access. So just kind of be mindful of those things. You know what? This US Steel had a buyout. It dipped down like a buck, and now it's gone red to green. So take this off the gapper list for the most part. Maybe even ramps today. Who knows? So we'll kind of be mindful of that. I would watch pretty much all these IPOs, see if they get a second day bounce. We got Ping, we've got Real, all these things were really, really shredding yesterday. What was some other ones here that I just had? Net has a double bottom here at 1760, and then a couple people asked about ADPT, but ADPT doesn't have any liquidity, so you can't really this one's due for a big bounce. At least down up to 34, 35, the old kind of breakdown spot. But, at 600,000 in liquidity, I mean, what are you going to trade on it? 20 shares, 30 shares, 200 shares? Doesn't really matter. So watch these IPOs for bounces. I also think JNUG, this is my top for today, a top watch for today. You're down from 82 down to 57, sitting on the 200-day moving average. You're at 6 stochastics. You're pretty oversold. What I want to see, though, is the shake and bake. I need to see the shake and bake. I need to see this thing flush at the open, bring in those shorts, and then rip back over 56. We shake them, we bake them, and we squeeze them titties. And we go to town, and we do what we do because we are men of honor, and we act like it's 1985, even though it's not. All right, we got to go. Let's go make some money. Let's have a little fun. Let's make it happen. Peace! Da-da, 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 da-da.